Okay, so welcome to the Unit 6, Lesson 2 on adding and subtracting rational expressions. So our learning objectives today are going to factor rational expressions to find our least common denominator, and also to add and subtract rational expressions with like and unlike denominators. So we're going to kind of assume that you guys know how to add and subtract fractions. If not, then hopefully you get a little bit of an idea here, and you can come see us if you need help. So the basic idea is that in order to add a fraction, you have to have common denominators. So this is my denominator, x plus 3. So since they're both the same, I can combine this into one fraction. So I get 2x minus, now here's the tricky part, a division sign, a fraction bar, is a grouping symbol. So it's 2x minus x minus 5 all over x plus 3. So that negative needs to be distributed. 2x minus x plus 5 over x plus 3. So x plus 5 over x plus 3. And that is your expression simplified. Okay? So just make sure if it's subtraction that you're distributing to the entire numerator. If your denominators are the same, just go ahead and add or subtract the numerators. Alright, so pause the video, try number 1. Okay, so here should be the answer to number 1. You should get a 3. If you got to this point right here, then you didn't simplify. So if you got 3x minus 12 over x minus 4, you got to remember that once you combine your numerators, you got to look to see if the numerator will again factor. Since I can pull a 3 out of both, it factors to 3 times x minus 4. And since the x minus 4 is a factor on the top and a factor on the bottom, factors can be canceled out, which leaves me with just a 3. Remember, you're not canceling out individual terms. You can only cancel out things that are being multiplied, right? So the 4 is being added to x or subtracted from x. So you can't cancel out just the 4. It has to be individually divided out based on factors. Okay, so let's look at what happens when there are not like denominators, when we have unlike denominators. Your first step is to factor each denominator. Okay? Get like denominators by multiplying. Okay? So we want to multiply the top and bottom by 1, by a form of 1. Right? So then we're going to multiply the numerators. Right? Or simplify, right? Simplify the numerators. Then we'll add and subtract the new numerators. And we want to leave the common denominator in factored form. There's no reason to multiply the denominator back together. Once we have it in factored form, leave it in factored form so that in case the numerator has to be factored, then you can simplify it easier. So let's take a look at this example. All right. So x minus 2 is factored already, so I'll leave the first one by itself. I'm subtracting. This will factor into x minus 2, x plus 2. So I'm subtracting x minus 2, x plus 2, x minus 1 on top. So I do not have like denominators. This one and this one are the same, but this is missing an x plus 2. So I have to multiply an x plus 2 on top and an x plus 2 on bottom, which is a form of 1, right? X plus 2 over x plus 2 equals 1. So I'm multiplying by 1. I'm not changing the value. So we actually have to FOIL the numerators, right? So x squared plus 2x minus 4x minus 8 all over x plus 2, x minus 2, subtracted by x minus 1 all over x minus 2, x plus 2. All right. So let's simplify all this. I can put it under one numerator now. X squared minus 2x minus 8 minus x plus 1, because I'm distributing my negative there and combining these two terms. All that's over x plus 2, x minus 2. So what do we have here? We have x squared minus 3x minus 7 all over x plus 2, x minus 2. Okay, are there any factors of 7 that will subtract to give me 3? No. So the numerator will not factor, so I know that I'm done. But you always want to check that to ensure that there's not a term that will cancel out, such as in number 1. Okay? So again, it's simply adding and subtracting fractions by getting common denominators. Or factor your denominators, multiply your numerators, then combine your like terms, and then factor again. So pause the video, try number 2, and then I'll come back and show you the answer, and we'll talk a little bit more after that. All right, pause the video. Okay, so you see in the end, you should get x squared plus x plus 2, all divided by the quantity x plus 2 squared times x minus 2. So I just kind of simplified, combined my two x plus 2's into x plus 2 squared, since there was 2 of them. And x squared plus x plus 2 does not factor, so nothing's going to cancel out. And so that's just my answer, and that's the final answer. That's what we're doing. We're adding and subtracting fractions. It's just the things, the denominators, the numerators are a little more complicated than just simple numbers. They're now expressions. But we'll practice this in class, and we'll go from there. All right. Have a nice day, and we'll see you in class next time.